No.
Really?
Number 12 is y plus 1 equals negative 3 times, in parentheses, x minus 2. Number 14 is y minus 6 equals 0.
They have you graph them. So, they have you graph 12 through 18.
True.
So.
I'll pull up the graphs and say, I'll read the equations now and then pull up the graphs.
Okay.
You know, a second. If this will do what it's trying to do. Yeah, great. Number 14 is y minus 6 equals 0. And
Can I do x plus 7?
Yeah, that's right.
Don't do anything else.
what is number 14?
0 times x plus 7 is still 0.
So 0, yeah, true enough. 16 is y plus 8 equals negative 5/8 times, in parentheses, x plus 6. Number 18 is y equals 0. Number 20 is y minus 6 equals negative 3 times, in parentheses, x plus 2. And y equals negative 3x. And then standard form is 3x plus y equals 0. 22, point slope is y plus 4 equals 2/3 times x plus 7. And then slope intercept is y equals 2/3 x plus 2/3. And then standard form is 2x minus 3y equals negative 2. 24 is y plus 7 equals negative 3/2 times, in parentheses, x plus 1. And then slope intercept is y equals negative 3/2 x minus 17/2. Standard form is 3x plus 2y equals negative 7. Number 26 is y, point slope is y minus 2 times 17/10 times, in parentheses, x minus 1. Slope intercept is y equals 17/10 x plus 3/10, and standard form is 17x minus 10y equals negative 3. 28 is point slope is y minus 11 equals 3 times, in parentheses, x plus 4. Slope intercept is y equals 3x plus 23. Standard form is 3x minus y equals negative 2/3. 30, point slope is y minus 1 equals 4/5 times x plus 5. Slope intercept is y equals 4/5 x plus 5. Standard form is 4x minus 5 equals negative 25. 32, point slope is y plus 6 equals negative 3/4 times, in parentheses, x plus 8. Slope intercept is y equals negative 3/4 x minus 12. Standard form is 3x plus 4y equals negative 48. 34's point slope is y plus 4 equals 9 times x plus 1. Slope intercept is y equals 9x plus 5. Standard form is 9x minus y equals negative 5. 36a is invisible. Oh, there it is. Y minus 325 equals 50 times, in parentheses, x plus minus 6. And then 36b is y equals 50x plus 25. And 36c is $25. 38 is, 3x plus 4y equals 0. 40 is y minus 3 equals 4 times x minus 1. X minus 1 is in parentheses. 42 is y minus 7 equals negative 4/3 times, in parentheses, x plus 3. 44 is y equals 1/2 x plus 3/2. 46, the point slope is y minus 8 equals 8/5 times, in parentheses, x plus 2. And the slope intercept form is y equals 8/5 x plus 56/5. And standard form is 8x minus 5y equals negative 56. 48a is f of x equals negative 70x plus 724. And 48b is 0.96 kilometers. Let me pull up those graphs for you. Give me half a second. 12? I don't either. 12 looks like that. 14 is a horizontal line that looks like that. That is what horizontal means. 16 is that guy. Notice it's counting by twos, so the y-intercept is negative 11-ish, or maybe exactly. Number 18 looks like that. And that's all she wrote. So, what questions do we have on that lesson? And then we'll go look at the other lesson. 40, what did you say, Joe?
14.
Oh, 14 and 48. Okay. And 35. Okay, number 14. We're supposed to write an equation of a line in point slope that something happens to. Oh, it's right here. There it is. Crosses through the point negative 7, 6, and the slope is 0. So what is point slope? No.
Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1.
Great. So now what?
And put x6 in for y, and y1 and 7, negative 7 to y, x1, and 0 is m.
Now what? We don't even have to ka-chink, because 0 times all that mess is going to be what? 0. Now what?
Plus 6.
Add the 6. Sounds great. Y equals 6. How would you graph it? Well, that's easy money.
Okay, it's just 0.
No, it's not 0. The slope is 0, though. Ah.
And 6 is.
So we go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we draw a line.
Okay.
And since it said horizontal, space. It didn't say horizontal then.
It didn't say horizontal. We got the equation y equals 6.
Yeah, but it said that information and then it said horizontal.
No, it didn't.
Which one did that say then?
18. We know this one's a horizontal line because the slope is 0. Goes up 0 and over infinity. Because that's the equation of a horizontal line. Y equals a number is always just a horizontal line. What, let's see, was it 48 you said, Ridley? Okay. The barometric pressure is 598 millimeters of mercury, which is kind of an interesting unit of pressure. You will learn about it when you take chemistry, probably. You pretty much will. I mean, well, actually, that's not quite true. 4 math sciences are required. Biology has to be one of them. The other 3 have to be high school credits. Most places in Texas, if you take it from us or public school or whatever, you're going to take chemistry, biology, physics, and some other science, maybe forensic science, maybe environmental systems, maybe A&P, maybe. About what? Well, yeah, I mean, maybe an AP chemistry or something else. Typically, most schools in Texas You've got biology, chemistry, physics, and then something else. Depends on who the teacher is. When I taught environmental systems. It was fun. It was the only life science I've ever taught. I quite enjoyed it. It was great. And then the guy that replaced me ended up replacing it with food science. He did a good job of it too. That could be a really crappy class if the teacher was bad, but he's a good teacher. So it was actually good. It was actually a legit class.
The structure of food. Trying to think of some food.
Proteins.
Protein.
198 millimeters of mercury at an altitude of 1.8 kilometers and 577 millimeters of mercury at 2.1 kilometers. Write a formula for the barometric pressure of a function of altitude. So the pressure is y and the altitude is x. Because it says that we're writing a barometric pressure as a function of altitude. So P is y and A is x. We're given a couple points in this function. What are they? It is on page 237. Excuse me.
Yes.
1.8 and 577.
The 1.8 doesn't go with the 577. Read the sentence again. Yeah, it's one of them. So 2.1 altitude with 577 millimeters of mercury of pressure. And we're given another point too. What is it? 1.8 and 588. 98, thank you. So we got 2 points. So what should we do?
What do you find the slope out of that?
I think that's a great idea. We should do that. How do we find slope given 2 points?
N equals y2 minus y1 over x2.
But you can do it the other way.
What, Joe?
Can you do it the other way?
x2 minus x1.
Like with the like the point slope or slope intercept? Is that what yeah, either way, we're going to need to find the slope first. But yeah, we could use either point slope or slope intercept to get to where we're trying to get. Absolutely.
I think I did the wrong because I forgot to do the slope and then.
Could be true. What's going to go right here?
577.
Here?
598.
What about this one?
1.8.
1.8. What's 577 minus 598? You have calculators!
21.
No, that's wrong. You're backwards.
I looked at mine all today and I couldn't find it.
I took it on as a
Did you eat it, Joe?
Negative 21.
Negative 21.
I was close. So I
You
was
were not.
close.
Negative 21 is very different from 21. If you have a gain of 21 yards, you're celebrating. If you get sacked for 21 yards, everybody is booing you. Very different things. What's 2.1? Huh? I do, and negatives are important, so I will continue to make a big deal out of it. Okay, so 2.1 minus 1.8 is what? 0.3. 0.3. We can reduce that mess. Negative 21 divided by 0.3 is what? negative 70. So that is a slope of negative 70. So the pressure is going down as altitude goes up, right? It's kind of what we just figured out. It's not. That's correct. So the pressure equals negative 70 times altitude plus some b. We need to figure out what b is. We could also use point slope, right? Because we're given points. That's nice. Which point do we want to pick?
Top one. Sure.
Top one. Sounds great. What are we going to put right here?
You're gonna put 598.
Good catch. Good double catch. You did great. Equals negative 70 times x minus 1.8.
You didn't want me to mess up.
Now let's turn that into slope-intercept form. I agree. Because, oh, you said, you didn't say, yeah, I understand. Gosh, Dad. Oh my gosh. Distribute, bam, bam. Y minus 598 equals negative 70x plus what?
Negative 126.
Definitely not negative, because negative times the negative is a positive.
Oh, it's a negative. I didn't see that.
Now what?
You
Add
plus
598.
And we get what?
724.
I said first.
Y'all, all three of you said it at the exact same time, but you know, whatevs. Which means that at an altitude of 0, so at sea level, what is the pressure in millimeters of mercury? 724 millimeters of mercury. That's exactly, so that's exactly what that equation looks like. And then, as you go up in altitude, the pressure drops.
The only reason I knew it was 724 is because we already got like negative 70 for something else.
Oh.
Facts.
Your logic. Your guess was
All right. What other questions do we have?
Yes.
44.
I was confused on
44.
28 and 34. 28 through 34.
12. I have to evil clap.
Okay, number 44. We're supposed to write this equation, y minus 7 halves equals 1/2 times x minus 4 in slope-intercept form. So what should we do?
Subtracts 2. I mean.
Sure, we could subtract 7/2 first. That's fine. We can't, it won't combine it with anything, but that's fine. They said we would add it, right? That's fine. Why not? I know it doesn't look like it, but that's a 2.
It's like a Harry Potter.
Oh, the star?
Yeah.
Oh, lightning bolt?
Yeah, that, I know what it's called. It's Harry Potter.
It looks like Harry Potter. It looks exactly like Harry Potter in the movies.
What should we do now? I agree. We should distribute that 1/2. What's 1/2 times x?
1/2 x.
True facts. Now, this next one, normally I would go ahead and reduce that to -2, but I'm going to leave it as -4 halves Because then it's easier to combine it with that one in a minute, right? Right, because that we can now just do in our head, right? Because what's negative 4 halves plus 7 halves?
11.
They're different signs, so subtract. Keep the sign of the big one.
3 over 2.
So 3 halves. So y equals 1/2 x plus 3 halves.
What I did is turn it into a mixed number.
You could. You could.
Yeah.
If you wrote your answer as y equals 1/2 x plus 1.5, that would be fine. What else?
44.
That was literally 44, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Oh! We did not do-
36. No, yes. A and B for 36.
Don't we have another part of it?
This one just asked for slope intercept.
You did extra work.
Possibly true. 36. Wet and Wild Rentals rents wave runners for $50 per hour. Remember that per is a keyword. That means it's probably the what?
Hour.
Why?
Plus.
That was the first good guess and wasn't just random words. You're wrong, but that was the first one that was like not just saying random crap. Not the y-intercept. That per is a key word that usually probably means it's the slope. When we see that word per, it's probably the slope because that's the one that's changing things, right? Okay, so that's probably the slope plus a one-time service fee. All right, so that would be the y-intercept, right? Whatever the one-time service fee is. The total cost of service, the total cost for service and 6 rental hours is $325. All right, so that sounds like a point, right? This goes with that. That sounds like a point. So we got a point, and it looks like we got a slope. Point slope. Whoa, shocker. Okay. Right.
Darn.
Look, it even gives you that as a hint, right? Write an equation in point slope form to find the total price for y for any number of hours x. It even tells you what x and y are. Y is the price and x is the hours. It like walks you all the way down the silvery path. And it tells you that the point is 6 and 300, is it 300? What is it? Yeah, 325. And I just gave you that the key word per tells us that 50 is the slope. So m is the slope, and it's 50. So how do we write an equation in point slope now?
Y equals mx, or no, that's the wrong one. My bad.
How dare you?
That you done ruined.
Okay, what are we going to put where?
50 and.
Yeah, the 50 and the m, that's true.
325 with the y1 and 6 with the x1.
There's part A, finished, done.
Told you.
No, you didn't.
Wait, did I write that down?
You might have, that's possible.
No.
Part B says, write the equation in slope-intercept form. So to turn that into slope-intercept form, what do? We distribute. Sounds great. What am I writing? I don't know what I'm writing. This and that. I'm trying to write. Y minus 325 equals 50 times x is 50x. And what's 50 times negative 6?
Negative 300.
Negative 300. Now what?
Add 3.
The y-intercept is 25, which means the service fee is how much? 25 buckaroos, which I bet you is part C. It is. It's part Z.
$4.60. For some reason on A, I got y minus x equals negative 47.3.
That doesn't even make sense. I don't know how you got that at all.
I got y minus x on a bunch of them. Or y plus x, or x plus y. X minus y.
That's only useful information if you understand what you were breaking. So like Corbin has learned really well, I don't care what you did. I only care whether you learned the right thing. Yeah? No, that was a good thing, Corbin. I was like praising you for once. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. What else? What time is it? We should probably look at the next lesson, yeah? Yes, because the next lesson is a little trickier, so
I got some.
I don't care. We're going to look at the next lesson, and then if we need to come back, I will care then. But I want to make sure we get some on the next lesson, because I want to make sure we get all the things, because you have a test Thursday, so, you know, I want to make sure you've seen all the lessons and done all the things, and it's all great.
Page
Number 2 through 33, yes.
But there was no 2 on page that.
There were a few on page 42.
Oh, no. Yeah, we've already been over this, Joe. Quit crying at me.
But that's
You already cried at me about it yesterday. You don't have to cry twice. Okay. Number 2 is y equals 4.
I do have a number 2.
You mean B equals 4?
Oh, yes.
Number 4 is, since segment EH and segment FG are parallel to the y-axis, they are parallel. Since EF and HG are parallel to the x-axis, they are parallel. And EH is perpendicular to EF, and HG likewise. Likewise, FG is perpendicular to EF and HG. The slope of EG is -1, and the slope of FH is 1. Since the slopes are opposite reciprocal, EG is perpendicular to FH. Therefore, the quadrilateral is a square. Number 6, none are parallel or perpendicular because none of the slopes are equal or opposite reciprocals. Number 18 is y equals -1/3 x plus 3 2/3. Number 10 is y equals -4/3 x plus 10. Number 12 is y equals 3x minus 15. Number 14 is y equals -1/2 x. Number 16 is y equals 13x minus 105. 18, the slope of CE is 2/3 and the slope of DF is -3/2. So the diagonals are perpendicular because the slopes are opposite reciprocal. Number 20 is no, because the slopes are -1/2 and 3/2. Number 22, all of the lines are parallel because they have the same slopes. Number 24, how far do we go to 38? Okay. Number 24 is y equals -2x minus 8. 26 is y equals 4x minus 2. 28 is y equals -1/3 x minus 2/3. 30 is y equals -3/2 x plus 27/2. 32 is y equals 2/3 x plus 4. 34 is parallel. 36 is neither. And 38 is parallel.
How do you get neither?
If they're not the same slope or opposite reciprocal, it's neither parallel nor perpendicular. What does perpendicular mean? It's two things.
They touch at all.
No, that's lies. That's they do touch, but that's not specific enough. This is not perpendicular. If they're 90 degrees, they're perpendicular and they have opposite reciprocal slopes. Did you watch the notes video? Maybe. Okay. Maybe didn't go slow enough or something. We got this. What questions do we have on those? 6 sounds grand. 6. We're supposed to look at the lines. Y equals 1/2 x. And 3y equals x, and y equals -1/2 x. And we're supposed to tell whether they are parallel or perpendicular or not at all. What do we need to know about these 3 lines in order to tell whether they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Okay, what's true about it's something about their slopes. No, not negatives. Parallel lines, if they're like this, they're parallel. What's true about their slopes? No. Two lines that's parallel, if they're parallel lines, what's true about the slopes of those two lines?
They don't ever cross.
That's true.
They're the same slope.
They have the same slope. So M1 equals M2. Yeah. What about perpendicular lines? Lines that cross at a 90-degree angle. One of them is negative, one of them is positive, which is opposite. That's not quite enough. Equals negative opposite reciprocal slopes is what they have. So 1 over M2.
I remember that.
Good. What's the slope of this line? 1/2. We don't know the slope of this one yet. What do we need to do to figure out the slope of that one? What? Y is not by itself yet, right? So what do we need to do? Divide 3 off. I agree. You may have meant that, but I don't think you said that. So what's the slope of this line? And what's the slope of this one? Negative 1/2. So do any of those lines have the same slope? No, because this one's positive 1/2, that was negative 1/2, right? So none of them are parallel. Do any of them have opposite reciprocal slopes? No. Which one? Which one are you saying that you think has the opposite reciprocal? I think I know which one it is, but are you talking about this one and this one? They have opposite, but not reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of 1/2? 2 over 1, or just 2. So this would have to be a negative 2, and then they would be perpendicular. Okay. 2 once, which is the same as 2, actually. Okay, what other questions do we have, kids? 8. Okay. What?
On the homework, you put page 242 and 2 through 38. Did you mean 242 and 243?
I wonder.
You put the actual problems on there too. So yeah, there were like 4 on 242.
All true. Number 8. We are supposed to write the equation in slope-intercept form of a line that passes through negative 1, 4, and is perpendicular to y equals 3x plus, we don't actually care, but 5. So our line passes through this and is perpendicular to that. So the fact that our line is perpendicular to that line, what does that tell us about the slope?
It's not the same. 3.
No, that would be if it's parallel. If it's parallel, they're the same. If it's perpendicular, what are they? Yeah, but different specifically. How? I've said it 5 times today.
No, mine is
Stop and listen before you answer. I've said it 5 times today, literally.
it's mine.
They are opposite reciprocal, right? So opposite means what? Yeah, it's different sign, right? So our slope is negative, and then what does reciprocal mean? Flip it. So what's the reciprocal of 3? 1/3. So our slope is negative 1/3. Right? So we can use point slope, because we got a point and the slope, and then turn that into slope intercept, right? That seems reasonable. What are we going to put in for y1? 4. What are we going to put in for m? Negative 1/3. And then negative 1. Now what do we do? Ka-chink, ka-chink, sounds great.
We do the thing above.
So do this.
Yeah. We get to distribute. Y minus 4 equals, what's negative 1/3 times x? Negative 1/3 x. And negative 1/3 times 1? Negative 1/3. Now what do we do? Add 4. Let's write 4 with a denominator of 3, so plus 12/3, right? Right? So y equals negative 1/3 x, what? 11/3 plus 11/3. Which if you wanted to write that as a mixed number, that would be 3 2/3. Okay.
And can we do number
20 what?
24?
Sure. 24. We're supposed to write an equation. It's a little bit of that formula line that passes through negative 5, 2, and is perpendicular to y equals 1/2 x minus 3. Okay. The fact that our line is perpendicular to that line tells us what?
That we have to its opposite.
Opposite reciprocal, yeah, that's true. So what would our slope be? Negative, because opposite, right?
Negative 2/1.
1 What's that from? Anybody know? Lorax.
I've never seen Lorax.
It's an awful movie.
It is a book.
Oh, I knew that, but like.
And there is a version of the movie which is exactly like the book. You should watch that one. The newer movie is like, eh. Let's use point slope. What are we going to do?
We're gonna replace x with -2 and is -2/1 and x is -5.
Ka-chink, ka-chink. Now what?
Distribute.
Distribute, sounds good. So y minus 2 equals negative 2x minus 10, right? Negative 2 times positive 5. Now what? Add 2. So the answer is y equals negative 2x minus 8. What other questions do we have?
Can we do 30?
Yes. $30 is like more of the same, but that's fine. Do you actually need 30 or have you figured out why you missed it? I'm not opposed to doing it, but if we're just doing it to satisfy your curiosity, there might be a question you need more. Is there another one that you need more than that one?
22.
Okay, so this is kind of similar to the other, but it's different enough. That, yeah, I bet let's do 22. I'm not opposed to doing any ones that we actually need, but if you already have fixed one problem, we may want to make sure there aren't other problems first, right?
Just use actually.
Actually, you're being annoying right now. It's fine. 3y equals x plus 12 and 2x minus 6y equals 12. And the answer is parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So it can't be 2. Okay, so we are expected to look at these things and decide whether they are parallel or they're perpendicular or like the one we did a few minutes ago, none of the above. So in order to tell from the equation whether they're parallel or perpendicular, what do we have to know about each one? The slope. So can we tell the slope about any of them yet? No. So because they're in like standard form or like no form or whatever else, so then nothing happens, right? We got to convert them into slope-intercept form or point-slope form, but slope-intercept would be easier. First one, what would we have to do? We could go ahead and divide everything by 3, but I want to caution what's happening. You got to divide everything by 3. We do this a lot in like Algebra 2 where we just reduce everything real quick, right? We could do that here. Okay. What's 3x divided by 3?
0.
No. X, 1x, right? 3 divided by 3 is 1, not 0, right? Okay. And then negative 9y divided by 3 is what?
3.
Negative 3. Watch your signs. Easy place to make little mistakes. What's 9 divided by 3?
This is, I thought you were talking about this.
Oh, did you? If you say so.
I was,
Okay. Can't prove it either way, so keep on trucking. Now what?
I didn't want to get the y by itself.
We do need to get the y by itself. That's right.
So,
Move the, no, let's wait to divide the 3 off. Remember we do addition and subtraction first. It's much easier, yeah? So subtract the x. Do these combine?
no.
No. If they don't combine, what do we do with them?
Just put them next to each other.
Just put them next to each other. Negative x plus 3. You're doing great. Now what? Divide by negative 3. So y equals, what's negative x divided by negative 3? No, not 0. Doesn't make any sense.
Negative 3x.
Not that either.
Negative.
1/3.
Not that, but that's getting closer.
1/3.
1/3. Negative divided by negative is positive. If there's nothing here, what is it? 1. 1 divided by 3 is 1/3, right? So 1/3 x. What's 3 divided by negative 3? Nothing. We actually care about that part, but we'll finish it out anyway. No, it's still not 0.
1.
Negative 1. Okay.
I was thinking here maybe.
Okay, what about this one?
Divide off the 3.
Divide off the 3. Sounds good. Actually, yes. Y equals, what's x divided by 3? 1/3 x. 12 divided by 3? 4. We don't really care about that part, but you know, for completeness sake, right? That one was nice and easy peasy. What now? What are we going to do over here? Subtract 2x sounds fine. You could also divide everything by 2. That's true. It would give us smaller numbers to work with, but it's fine.
We don't need that. We're too good.
Now what?
Subtract, or divide -6.
Yes.
See, we're just doing the same thing.
What is negative 2x divided by negative 6?
Positive
2x plus 12 all over.
No, that's not good enough. Negative 2x divided by negative 6 is what I asked, which is definitely not what you said.
negative.
No.
Positive 2, 6.
Yeah, which reduces to what?
1.
1/3. Don't flip them on accident. It's a common mistake at this point. What's 12 divided by negative 6?
-2.
-2. Okay, so now that we have that lined out,
The slope is all -1/3.
it's all 1/3, so all of those lines are what? Parallel.
So smart.
Ta-da.
Wow. Now we can.
What other questions do we have, kids?
Yay. Number 4.
Number 4?
Number 4, you have to find the slopes of all those lines and then write it all out. You won't have one like on the test, that on the test, so we'll put a pin in that because it's 155. You said what number? What'd you say? You didn't say a number? Okay.
Again?
What other questions? If on either lesson, we could probably hit one more problem. Do we have? I know, Corbin, you said you had some other ones from the other lesson. Do you still have them?
Yes, I do, really do.
Choose your most important one.
Okay. 20, 36, 34, 36.
He's like, they're on board. Not every single.
Can we do 32?
He chooses to.
32.
Lift off.
I made the right decision.
What?
Oh, no.
What?
4-3. So page 236, number 32. We're supposed to write the equation of the line in point slope form that passes through -8, -6, and 4, -15. So what should we do?
We should turn everything up.
Y2.
Slope formula, yeah.
You didn't see that.
You definitely didn't say that. You may have been meaning that for some reason, but you definitely did not say that. It's going to go right here. And here.
-6.
Let's do it so fast. I
4.
can't do it that fast.
-8.
And then
Ka-ching.
we do ka-chink ka-chink on both. What is what is -15 plus 6? -9. And 4 plus 8 is 12. Does that reduce
Yes.
to what?
3/4.
-3/4. Now what?
Use
So
the top ones.
Are you able, if it says -3, could we put that negative in like just instead of 3?
We do.
Oh.
I have no idea what you're asking.
Like
Y minus
instead of
Y1
writing it like
Instead of running it.
this, are you able to write it like
minus X1.
this? Instead of running it.
The negative can go any of the 3 places, yes.
Y1
Okay.
Y1
Good to know.
equals N
I feel like I knew that, but
times X minus X1.
That's what I said.
And then yes.
What's going to go right here?
This is
50.
negative 15. No.
Either
Yes.
one.
Above.
And here,
Negative 3 over 4.
what about this one?
4.
Oh.
But why are you not doing that?
Because they all scream this one. You could do it either one. You could do. Maybe. I don't know. They screamed it louder. Okay, what now? And distributive property, right?
Yes, I was gonna say that.
So y plus 15 equals negative 3/4 x. And then negative 3/4 times negative 4 is what?
Negative 3.
Yes. You got there. Good job.
Good job.
Positive 3.
Now what?
We subtract the 15.
Subtract 15. You said nothing of the sort.
Minus 12. Negative 12.
I understand.
Positive 12.
Corner understands.
Good.
But it's. No, never mind.
Goodbye. You have a test Thursday for the 28.5 time.
Did we already use all the
Wait,
time?
Yes, sir.
I say 28 and a half.
How do you say it at half?
Wait, so it would be you have a